Welcome, folks, to my Combat Channel News. I am the Yak Man, Ron Yakovetti.
FABIANO, the king of armbar.
And he smiles through it every single show for you people.
I smile because it was a great weekend.
It was a good weekend,
stuff going on. So we got a lot to talk about. There's a lot of good stuff coming up. So why not smile? Life is beautiful.
If you're still depressed, ask your doctor if EHA is right for you.
If you're depressed, just look for somebody worse than you and you probably feel better.
That's what I'm here for.
Exactly.
That's why you're smiling. Yeah. I'm the worst.
That's why I look good, because I look somebody worse than
because
Look at him. Look at me. There you go. Let's go to the news.
Let's go. We're going to
talk about Rick Franklin.
Yes, to start off the show, Rich Franklin on his way to China.
Yep.
Drug-free. And I'm not talking about like a pack mule trying to hide something inside his rectum in a bag. No, nothing like that at all. We're talking about TRT. Says he was tempted. That's testosterone therapy, right? Replacement therapy. Again, meant to take, as a male ages, your natural testosterone level drops. So it is meant to at least bring it up back to where your peak levels were at your best, or for some people, maybe a little bit of an enhancement.
A little extra.
What did he say, though? Franklin thought about it.
He's 38 years old. It's kind of like that time that you maybe think about doing something like that.
Right.
You know, like I don't think about that yet, but maybe, you know.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm not close to 40, so I don't need to worry about that yet. So.
Right. Plus, you're king of the armbar. There's nobody even close, so at this point, you're all right.
I know. He's like, again, you know, Rick Franklin's 29 fights, 29 wins, 6 losses, and his last victories against Vanderlei Silva was a very good one by decision. So hopefully he's saying that he's going to China nice and clean. Right.
He says, and this is something you got to like about the guy, he understands how the business works. He understands, I mean, the UFC pays him, but ultimately they're contingent on making money as a business. And he said when the fans showed such an outcry against the use of TRT by other athletes, he said that was a big influence why he wouldn't do it.
Exactly. But again, you know, you need to do the right. If you're not, you're gonna fail on the drug test. Anyway, we're going from MMA to boxing. This last week, Danny Garcia got knocked out Eric Morales.
Right, Morales trying to avenge defeat the last time, did not do so, not even close.
No, because again, if you're not, if you are an MMA fan and you're not a boxing, you're not following boxing, he's a guy that you maybe should, you know, keep your eyes on, because Danny Garcia, he's 25 fights, 25 victories, and 16 by knockout. So he's coming very strong. He's somebody that you should keep your eyes on.
Yeah,
and that knockout was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Eric Morales too, he's been around for a while.
Exactly.
He is one of the best in the division for sure, for a long period of time, but is he at the point when he should be hanging them up?
Yeah, they should. Again, and that's the second time they fought. The first time they fought, it was by decision. And this one is a little more clear, almost outside the ring. So
clearly doesn't leave any room for a rubber match. Nobody's wondering with unanswered question, what if they did it again?
That's it. That's it. That's best page back. That's it. Done.
I think he's an all-time great, but I think he's also for a boxer. He's been through so many hard wars in a career that's not too short, but I think, you know, that age is a fighter. He's an older version of the age he is because of what he's been through.
Yeah, again, he's a brand new guy, and again, he is the light water weight. The weight division boxing is a little bit different than the MMA. Very different. Anyway, we're keeping on the boxing. Pacquiao against Marquez.
Number 4.
You know, that's I went over and they look so close to each other. Like Pacquiao has 60 fights, Marquez has 61 fights. So Pacquiao 54 victories, Marquez 54 victories. Pacquiao 4 losses, Marquez 6 losses. 2 and 1, a non-contest draw. So one that got 38 knockouts, the other one have 39 knockouts. The interest is the reach is the same.
So basically, if these guys went on Match.com looking for the perfect person for them, they would find each other.
That's it. That's just the age. One is 33 and the other is 39. But you know, like they almost exactly the same. And the same height. One is 5'6.5", the other one is 5'7". Probably the one 5'7" line, because You know, they always lie because we lie. Because we always lie a little more. So
TV ad's like a few inches. I'm actually 4'11".
Anyway, that's a very interesting coming up boxing match. So
December 8th, 2012 in Las Vegas. Interesting too that Pacquiao has every one of the fights he's had so far with Marquez, the 3 fights, every one of them has been disputed on whether or not the result that came out of it was the way it should be. 2-0-1 is their record so far fighting each other. And Pacquiao, 2 of those wins, no losses, the 1 draw. And every one of those disputed by people that he should not have been either the victor or it shouldn't have been a draw for the other one.
Well,
4th one.
4th one's coming.
Never mind trilogies. This is number 4. Hopefully this settles it.
And this time they decide to be a little bit more smart and don't put that fight against, and the same time the UFC has also a fight because they probably decide not to compete against each other anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, after 4, if there's any unanswered questions now, I think then we've seen enough. Speaking of unanswered questions,
we're going to commercial, guys. We'll be right back, and we have a special guest today. Don't go anywhere because we're not going. Stay here, just wait for you guys.
We're just ramping up and the show's gonna end on the savage side. Stay with us. Welcome back, folks. My Combat Channel News. Good first segment so far. A lot of stuff we were excited to talk about.
I'm not so sure about that.
Nothing. Well,
we try.
Yeah, if you want to let us know if you thought so,
please.
You can tweet our twandle on Twitter at My Combat Channel.
Yep.
Or My Combat Channel on Facebook. Or
exactly. Keep going.
What else do we have?
I don't care. Just talk bad, talk good. Just talk about us. That's all we need.
YouTube, My Combat Channel, or MYCC.
If you hate
News.
us, tell everybody that you hate us.
Tweet it. Twandle it.
Yeah. And we can go ahead and
our Twitter
become
at
the
My
king,
Combat Channel.
The king of Twitter.
The king of. We can do that. We can take over. It's a little bird. I think we can do it.
That's all you did. Anyway, we're moving forward.
Speaking of being upset.
She's upset.
You'd think Miesha Tate was upset about the loss of Ronda Rousey. She's even more upset for what I think she's taking this as an affront to women's MMA to a certain degree. Yeah. She went to Twitter.
Stay together. Yeah. They tie.
Yeah. Well, then see, that's why you don't mess with the right scoring woman. You heard the whole thing. All right. She went to Twitter. Apparently, on the next Bellator show, Zoya Gragel is the champion. The event in her hometown. And she is on the untelevised undercard.
Bad decision, all I can say. Bad decision. So how come she hold the belt, she's the champion, she's gonna fight in the hometown, and the promoter decides to put her the undercard? Come on. Come on.
According to Tate, I think she thinks that Zoya Gragel had said certain remarks she had they were scathing remarks about Bjorn Rebney, who runs Bellator. And then supposedly this might be her getting a timeout as we would do with our children. Putting her on the undercard. And her opponent, nonetheless, Casey Nolan, is coming off a loss in her debut in Bellator. Well, meanwhile, Gragel was coming off of a win streak. And she's a champion in her hometown.
Well, this is something that I definitely see Dana do, But, come on. You need to be smart when you play the game. You need to be smart when you're promoting. And in the hometown, I'm surprised they even let they do the show after that.
Yeah. Hometown undercard.
Try to do that in my hometown. Try and put me on the card and see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, Miesha again took this personal.
They stick together, man. You don't do that over there.
Essentially, Miesha Tate said she got thrown under the bus. That Bjorn Rebney threw under the bus. So some anti-Bellator sentiment coming from Miesha Tate, and justly so too. Again, it's a negative strike against a female champion in her hometown, defending a title, and she's not even televised.
Well, I hope that it is somehow a business decision. It's not personal.
Right.
Because if it is, you bring personal stuff to the business, that's pretty bad. And I hopefully, maybe he have some different reasons, why he did that. So anyway,
right. One might say, Bjorn Rebney, are you smoking something?
Yes.
And he's not, but somebody else is.
Oh yeah. So, tell me who.
Matt Riddle, who was suspended after his UFC 149 win over Chris Clements, gets it overturned
and he showed his ID.
He was smoking the reefer.
So
and he's got it, but go ahead, say it.
No, keep going.
He's got a license to toke.
Yeah, I say, okay, listen, this is my license. I didn't do anything illegal, so I'm cool or what?
Yeah, and there it is.
Yeah,
he's got a Nevada license to smoke marijuana. Here's the problem we'd like to share with Mr. Riddle. If the commission doesn't allow it, it doesn't matter if the state does.
Exactly. Yeah,
because that's what happened now.
So now on, you can go ahead and go to your doctor and ask him for, some testosterone, and you go fight, and you're gonna think that's gonna make that legal?
Right,
No. You know, that's not the way. So.
Right. Whatever the substances are that are banned by the promotion or the athletic commission or both, you can't have those.
I don't know if that changed, the rules changed, but back in my days, you know what happened? His opponent is gonna get 50% of his purse.
But he can still fight.
No, look.
Oh, after the fact.
So after that happened,
after the fact, okay.
If they found out that you have, influence of drugs, your opponent takes 50% off your purse.
Right.
Not only you already gonna get 50% less because you didn't win, so 50%
of that
going to your opponent, because that happened to me against Lavon Clark. He was influence of marijuana, and then I got 50% of his purse.
And not even like it's performance enhancing. And if he was high, what's the worst thing he was going to do? Eat his sandwich?
I never understand that. But anyway, that's the problem. Anyway, better than that, better than anything else.
This is your favorite part.
It is my favorite part.
You always say it's better no matter what we have. So go ahead, introduce it.
MMA Top 10 Lightweight. Aaron, bring it on.
Hey everyone, I am Aaron Gales, and this is your Top 10 Lightweight Division. At number 10, we have Donald Cowboy Cerrone. At number 9, we have Eddie Alvarez. At number 8, we have Jim Miller. Number 7, Michael Chandler. Number 6, we have Nate Diaz. And at number 5, Anthony Showtime Pettis. And at number 4, we have the bully, Gray Maynard. At number 3, we have El Nino himself, Gilbert Melendez. At number 2, we have Frankie the Answer Edgar. And at number 1, we have Benson Smooth Henderson. Thank you for watching. I'm Aaron Gales, and that was your Top 10 Lightweight Division.
Thank you, Aaron
so
Gales.
much.
Quickly, before we move on to something we wanted to mention, UFC 155, December 29th on the Dos Santos Velasquez rematch, also which has Forrest Griffin taking on Mr. Wonderful Phil Davis, now in for Chael Sonnen, coach of the Ultimate Fighter, is two very strong up-and-comers, 13-1, Eric Koch, taking on Ricardo Lamas. Lamas 12-2.
Very close.
A matchup by two guys, again, if they were trying to protect their records and careers, they wouldn't fight each other. Really is an excellent matchup.
It is a very good matchup. They're very fast. Again, that weight division, of course, they're very fast. Technique, amazing technique, good stand-up. So we respecting a very good match in that day.
Yeah, great
So
point.
anyway, don't go anywhere because what we got.
When we come back, we've got the Savage, Chad George, in the studio. That's right, he's going to join us. We're going to cram him in right here, just for you people. Put a little space between us. Keep the peace. Next, when we come back on My Combat Channel News.
There you go.
Welcome back, folks. My Combat Channel News. We're joined by a very special guest, Chad the Savage George. Chad, thanks for coming.
Thanks
We've
for
got some history. I've gotten to interview you before. I've gotten to commentate some of your fights before. You and Boring have never crossed paths. Let me just say that. You're an exciting fighter. Anybody who's seen you would know. Tell us, how did you get started? People want to know because everybody's story is different. How did you get started in fighting for a career?
Actually, you know, it was a complete accident. I was working as a professional artist just out of art school, moved out here from Sacramento, and I was looking for something to get back in shape. I wrestled for most of my life, and a buddy I worked on a project with introduced me to a jiu-jitsu school, and then they had an MMA program. This is back in, what, 2004, 2005, so the sport was just kind of taken off, and it's, you know, it's definitely not what it is now. There was no amateur system, a lot of underground fights still. And 3 months into training, I got offered a fight, and the fight was 2 days later in Tijuana, Mexico.
Oh.
And it was so surreal. It almost, I thought I was supposed to say no. In fact, I thought I said no. And yes came out. Then we were in the car on our way to Mexico, and it was hook, line, and sink, and I was locked in. And you know, years later, changed career paths, you know, and we've fought all over the world, and it's been great.
That's good. You got 21 fights so far.
21, yep.
That's good.
21
14
fights.
wins.
14,
7
yeah.
losses.
Good record. Definitely good record.
And you kind of like put you in situations a couple of times that you fought. One guy, Todd Gimam, is his last name?
Yeah, Todd Gimam.
Yeah, you fought him 3 times. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, how did that happen?
And the same, guys, again, in the same organization, one show after another one.
Right, that was TFA.
Yeah, it was TFA.
3 times, same guy. Why? Tell you, that's a great question.
Well, it's actually, when I had first started, there really wasn't any other shows in the Los Angeles area. So I fought for the TFA for a good handful of fights. I don't remember how many it was. And so they couldn't get more guys in to come fight me. So this one guy who I had originally fought for the show's title, I had fought him the first time, and it seemed like I had knocked him out, and I ended up getting choked out, so it was kind of funny. I needed to learn some jiu-jitsu. So they put us up against each other a second time, finally put some time into training and learning the ground, and I ended up choking him out. So then we were 1-1, and they wanted us to do a third fight, and we fought a third time, and then it got stopped some awkward way that the entire arena started booing. So, you know, he ended up taking that victory, whether I agree or disagree. You know, it is what it is. And
that was the case of the Peoples versus George, right?
Yes, and the Peoples won.
Yes. Cecil Peoples premature stoppage. It happens sometimes.
So how long have you been training jiu-jitsu so far?
I mean, you could say I've been training jiu-jitsu since I started doing MMA in 2004 or 5, but I've wrestled my whole life, and honestly, I wouldn't say I've taken jiu-jitsu seriously until the last handful of years. So I'd say, you know, since I started putting the gi and learning the, you know, the gi side of it.
You went from the gi?
Yeah, and so I mean, because a long time it was just a lot of no gi, and I didn't want to get into the gi. You know, for me, like a lot of wrestlers, you know, oh, I hate the gi, I hate the gi. It's an ego thing. We hate the gi because we get submitted. We're used to being the dominant guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not until you get over the ego you realize, you know what, the gi is what makes my game better. The gi is what slows it down and makes me actually learn. And so, I mean, I've probably been focusing a lot of time in the gi for the last 4 years or so.
You still training with the gi?
Yeah, it's every week.
I'll be honest with you, I stopped training with the gi when I started training fight MMA because it was getting me too confused.
Well, it cracks me up because everybody wants their black belt in jiu-jitsu. But the belt's to tie your gi on. But you know what I mean? But everybody wants a black belt, but nobody wants to put on the gi. They want it. They want the belt.
Well, I was already black belt. That's the case. It's a different story. I was already black belt in jiu-jitsu, so I'm like, this getting me too confused because I used to use the gi for, you know, for a lot of submissions, a lot of stuff. So anyway.
See, exactly. That's the way.
King of the armbar.
Well, that was a good time. They could deliver that very well. So anyway.
I've heard a lot of people say the same
no
thing.
anymore. Like we can't barely walk after this.
Yeah, when we came
game.
into the studio, folks, I'm probably definitely the least dangerous guy on the panel, and I'm the only one walking upright like I'm not de-evolving. You guys are both hobbling in. But that's training. You get hurt more in training, don't you think you do fighting?
Yeah, you know, the fight's the easy part. It's the training that leads up to it. So, you know, it's funny because a lot of people say, oh man, that was an easy fight. You know, you ready to do it again? It's like, you got to realize it's the 8 to 12 weeks that led up to that fight. It's got nothing to do with the fight itself.
What's one thing that happened to you in your fight career that after that fight you would know it completely took you off guard, like you didn't expect it, either from the guy or just from the fight?
I had a fight, actually I think you commentated a fight that afterwards I didn't remember the fight. You know, the whole fight was kind of a blank. It was a barn burner for 15 minutes. Him and I just beat the hell out of each other. I was a bloody mess.
I think another one you're talking about.
And there was one of those things people were asking, man, how'd you get out of that? And I was like,
Get out of what?
Yeah. So I mean, and I won that fight. Luckily, that was actually, I won that fight by split decision, and my next fight after that was in the WEC. So it was a.
Where are you training now?
I train at the PKG Training Center, right here.
Represent.
Here we go. You're gonna have to stand up. There you go.
There we go. And we just opened a new gym in Westwood, a nice, beautiful 5,000 square foot training center, and it's an unbelievable group of guys, team, staff, and it's a great place to train.
Look, PKG's punch, kick, grapple, follow. Hey, look at that. That was at Bama, USA. That was on October 13th.
Something like that.
Just recently, you got to sit in. RJ Clifford stepped up. You sat in and commentated. It was a great time. You did a great job. But you definitely could do that again. I'm sure.
It was a lot of fun. You know, I liked doing the commentary. You know, maybe it's the avenue after all this.
Yeah, I think so.
People at home, where they're gonna see you next?
Yes. Where can they find out where you're going to be?
Well, we're negotiating a couple things right now. You know, I heard that the Bama show's got another one coming up in January, I think.
You're on the Bama card in January?
Yeah, possibly. You know,
Okay.
we got a couple other things, and then I heard in February I might go back to New Zealand and fight out there. They're doing another USA versus New Zealand show.
And you did really well last time. Okay, so real quick, fast, where they can find you on Facebook, your website?
You can find Twitter, easy, at Savage135. Follow me in the gym, pkgla.com.